So our goal today is that the student will be able to use their understanding of exponents and cubed roots in order to solve equations. Before we do that, though, we need to take a minute and talk about the last set of notes we did was all about square roots, solving the square roots. So I gave you an equation, something like this, and you used, you changed the radical to 1/2, and then you can multiply by 2 to get a 1, and then you could solve for x. But what we didn't talk about was we didn't talk about the domain. So remember, domain is all of the x values in a function. So, or you can think of it as like what x values could work for this equation, right? So if I put this on a graph, what are my only possible x's? What am I looking for, right? So if it equals to 10 or to a number, that's kind of weird. Normally we'd say it equaled y, right? Because it's now any x in any function. The domain. When we're talking about the domain, the possible x values that we could be using, we have to look at where the x is at. And our x sits inside of the square root. And so no matter what else is happening around it, we know that this square root cannot be negative. So this whole square root has to be, so it cannot be a negative number, right? Which means that the square root has to be greater than or equal to 0, because anything else would give you a negative. So we can say that, okay, whatever's inside the square root, whatever number we use for x, when I subtract 4, I need to be greater than or equal to 0, so I'm not putting a negative inside the square root. So we add 4. We can say that all the x values in this function, it doesn't matter what they are, as long as they're greater than or equal to 4. So that's the domain of that function. Now, cubed roots are different. Cubed roots, you can have negative numbers, because when you have a square root, you're just taking two numbers and multiplying them together. It's impossible to multiply two of the same number and end up with something negative. But cubed roots, you can multiply 3 of the same number and get a negative. So it's a little different. We don't really care about negatives or positives when we do cubed roots. But we're going to use the same idea as we did before. So first we're going to take this cubed root, and we're going to say it's really x plus 2 to the 1/3 power equals 1. Now, I need to get rid of that 1/3 power, so I'm going to multiply it by 3 whole, because 1/3 times 3 is 1, but I'm going to multiply by 3 there too. So now I have x plus 2 to the first power equals 1 cubed is 1 times 1 times 1. That's 1. Okay, so now I have x plus 2 equals 1, so minus 2. X equals negative 1. All right, example number 2. I need to isolate the cubed root first. So I need to, this 3 is being multiplied to it, so I'm going to divide by 3. So I have the cubed root of 2x minus 1 equals 5. So really that's 2x minus 1 to the 1/3 power equals 5. So to get rid of that 1/3 power, I'm going to cube it. So I have to cube that side. So I have 2x plus, or 2x minus 1 to the first power, because 1/3 times 3 is 1 whole, equals 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5. It's 125. So 2x minus 1 equals 125. Add 1. 2x equals 126. Divide by 2. We have x equals 63. Okay, last example. Isolate the cube root first. So we're going to add 8 to both sides from here. So I have negative 4 times the cubed root of 3x plus 5 equals 16. Divide by negative 4. So I have the cubed root of 3x plus 5 equals negative 4. Now, if it was a square root, we would stop here and say there's no solution. Because a square root, you have to multiply two of the same things together to get that answer. And you cannot have a square root that is negative. But a cubed root, you can. So let's keep going. So we're going to take this and turn it into 3x plus 5 to the 1/3 power. So to get rid of that power, we're going to multiply both sides. We're going to cube both sides. So I have 3x plus 5 now to the first power equals negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 is negative 4 cubed, and it's negative 64. So keep going. So 3x plus 5 equals negative 64 minus 5. So 3x equals negative 69. Divide by 3. X equals negative 23. And that's it.